Max Mayfield's story after Billy's death is one of the clearest and most painful examples of survivor's guilt in Stranger Things because her trauma is not loud or dramatic at first but quiet, heavy, and always present, following her everywhere she goes. Survivor's guilt happens when someone lives through a terrible event while someone close to them dies, and instead of feeling relieved to be alive, they feel ashamed, responsible, or unworthy of surviving. For Max, Billy's death is not just the loss of a brother, but the loss of a complicated relationship filled with fear, anger, love, and unfinished emotions, which makes the guilt even harder to escape. Billy was abusive, aggressive, and often cruel, and Max spent years wishing she could be free from him, wishing he would disappear from her life, and when he finally dies, saving her and everyone else in the process, those wishes turn into unbearable guilt. She cannot stop thinking that her thoughts somehow caused his death, that the universe punished her for wanting him gone. And this belief slowly destroys her from the inside. After Billy dies, Max does not cry openly or talk about her pain in a healthy way. Instead, she shuts down, isolates herself, and builds emotional walls around her heart. She avoids her friends, especially Lucas, because being close to them reminds her that she is still alive and still capable of happiness, something she feels she no longer deserves. Survivor's guilt convinces Max that moving forward would be a betrayal of Billy's sacrifice. So she freezes emotionally, trapped in the moment of his death. One of the most heartbreaking parts of Max's trauma is how she rewrites her memories of Billy, no longer seeing only the abuse but focusing on the fact that he died trying to protect her. Her mind turns him into a symbol of sacrifice, and this makes her guilt deeper because now she feels that her life is built on his death. This guilt shows itself in small, human ways, like her writing letters to the people she loves, as if she already believes she does not belong in the world anymore. These letters are not just about fear of danger, they are about emotional surrender, a quiet acceptance that she might not survive, and maybe should not survive. Max's trauma also connects to depression, which survivor's guilt often leads to, because when someone believes they should have died, life loses its color and meaning. She stops enjoying the things she once loved, stops opening up, and begins to emotionally numb herself as a way to avoid feeling the constant pain inside her chest. The world around her keeps moving, but Max feels stuck in a place where time ended the moment Billy died. Music becomes her escape, especially the song that later saves her life, because music allows her to feel something without directly confronting her guilt. It becomes a bridge between her pain and survival, reminding her that feeling deeply does not mean she is weak or selfish. What makes Max's survivor's guilt even more powerful is that Billy's death was violent, sudden, and heroic, which leaves no room for closure. She never gets to say goodbye, never gets to fully express her anger, fear, or complicated love for him, and this unfinished emotional business keeps her trauma alive. She blames herself not because it makes logical sense, but because guilt gives her pain a reason. And sometimes pain feels easier to accept when it has a cause. In her mind, if Billy died for her, then her suffering becomes a form of repayment, a way to honor his sacrifice. This is why she pushes people away, because happiness feels wrong and love feels undeserved. Max's trauma shows how survivor's guilt is not just about one moment, but about how that moment reshapes a person's entire identity. She no longer sees herself as just Max, a strong, sarcastic, brave girl, but as the girl who lived while someone else died. This belief follows her everywhere, whispering to her that she is living on borrowed time. When Vecna targets Max, he does not create her guilt. He simply feeds on what is already there, using Billy's memory as a weapon against her. Vecna represents how trauma can become a voice inside someone's head, repeating their worst fears and beliefs until they feel powerless. The visions Max sees are not just supernatural attacks, they are emotional truths twisted into nightmares, showing how deeply Billy's death has affected her sense of self. The moment when Max runs for her life is not just about escaping a monster, but about choosing life. Choosing to keep going even when she feels she should not. This choice is incredibly important because survivor's guilt often makes people feel like they have no right to choose themselves. Max's story shows that healing does not mean forgetting Billy or pretending the pain never existed, but learning that surviving does not make her selfish or evil. Her trauma is real, her guilt is real, but it does not define her worth. Max represents many people who carry silent pain, who smile on the outside while blaming themselves on the inside. And her journey helps show that survivor's guilt is not a sign of weakness, but a sign of deep empathy and love. She loved Billy in her own complicated way, and losing him broke something inside her, but it did not erase her strength. Even when she feels empty, scared, and undeserving, there is still a part of Max that wants to live, that wants to feel joy again, and that part slowly fights its way back to the surface. Max Mayfield's trauma after Billy's death is a powerful reminder that surviving tragedy can hurt just as much as the tragedy itself, and that healing is not fast or easy, but possible, even when guilt tells you it is not.